Welcome to Mindset Equestrian's Rough Draft Podcast. This is us gearing up for what to do during a podcast. And while it's raining, even though one of us was like, it's not going to rain, it's pouring down right now. We figured we'd already done our chores for the evening, so we would just
scattered shower
chat. So I'm Karen with Mindset Equestrian. This is Ryan with Iced Out Gypsies. Banners, yes. We learned to say banners on one of our other YouTube videos that we did earlier this year together. I brought Ryan snacks. Actually, I brought Indy snacks, and he didn't like it, and it made him look like he was bleeding, so she saved it for after our first ride. So I pulled out the microphones because you often talk, and a lot of people within our subscription page talk about wanting to hear normal people's perspectives.
Yeah.
And we were chatting about people on the internet, professionals on the internet, and I was talking about amateurs on the internet who find the confidence to post their journey on the internet. And I sit back and I'm like, your saddle's bouncing up in the back or whatever. And I don't say it because, again, this is Mindset Equestrian. So my whole premise is to find a positive way because, again, we all learn by doing and we learn by growth. And the last thing I'm going to do is attack someone who's having a good time and doing their
Probably
best.
having the greatest ride of their life at that moment,
And so we were chatting. There was somebody I saw yesterday who was talking about how they were walk trot cantering, and then they were going to do turns of the forehand, turns of the haunches. Now, both of us have a Western background. I have a Western background, even though
rope. I don't know if y'all know that, but she can rope. Just FYI.
Actually, anyway, but I always, you only know dressage, and I'm like,
contraire.
Anyway, and I'm like, she was like, no, we do turns of the forehand, turns of the haunches first.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me go grab my microphones because as a trainer, as an instructor, most people will say, no, I am here to walk, trot, canter. I'm actually here to trot, canter, and walk on a loose rein back to the barn. And then the hard stuff, which is the turns of the haunches, turns of the forehand, we'll do that later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's minute one. That's your warm up. That's everything.
Yeah. You got to get those sticky parts unstuck first, the shoulders and the haunches and stuff. If you have those, in theory, unstuck from each other, when you go to canter to part or change leads, these things are not kind of stuck in the mud, which is how my horse is because he's very earthbound.
So
that's my experience.
You're an amateur. You've been doing this for a while, and I like to say non-professional. I don't like to say amateur. I feel like people, and I'll say it if I need to. But
I'm an amateur with a capital A.
Well, I mean, when I'm usually talking about an amateur, it's someone who kind of makes excuses and has high expectations.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So they have high expectations and a lot of excuses for why they're not there. And by the way, excuses are fine. You don't owe anybody anything. You just need to quit putting pressure on your tribe on what you want to do, because most of the time we're able to get shit done and get things accomplished. And so if your goal is here, we will help and push and guide and encourage and so when we hear excuses constantly, we think, okay, you don't really want it. Yeah. And you certainly don't want it as bad as I do. And right now you're bringing me down. So I think we've seen that some this year of you need to step away from somebody like that until they figure out how to balance out their dreams and their expectations. Yeah.
And I think too, when you take those little steps at first, all of a sudden it seems like you have 100 steps, but when you're taking those little pieces together, all of a sudden you went from step 5 to step 60 because you took the time at the beginning to get those steps right, and the rest of the stuff falls in. That's that storm that's not really here, you guys.
Yeah, it sounds like we're gonna get killed, but so I think it's funny. Ryan's getting ready for the world, Western Dressage World. I've got Julie who came here last week working with her horse, getting ready for the Retired Racehorse Project in Kentucky when we get back. And we spent the whole time working on finding Taylor Swift songs to match his tempo. And she ended up cantering both leads forever and a day.
Yeah, without any problem.
No problem whatsoever. And at camp, when I had people do obstacles and then do something else, everybody got it because the obstacles became so hard mentally for the riders that everything else became easy. Yeah. And I think it's so funny. I think not enough people will take themselves away from the goal every single stride. Yeah. And not only enjoy the horse, allow their horse to enjoy the ride. Absolutely. But realize that in playing with music, you've got your canter for 15 circles. I wonder if you can still hear us. Hopefully.
I hope so.
So as an amateur, I don't I need to maybe come up with categories of amateurs, right?
Yeah.
The people that do not have show goals, which is perfectly fine. Nobody gives a shit if you don't want to show.
Else to compete on. They'll be like, I'm amateur level 1. Amateur level 5.
And then there's the amateurs that, want to grow with their horses.
Yeah.
There's the amateurs that are working really hard who sometimes get knocked down constantly in life. We have several of those in our group, and we all feel so bad for them.
Yeah.
And we also get it.
Yeah.
Then there's the amateurs who don't want to do the work, who want to buy in, and I can somewhat appreciate that as a trainer.
That's fine too. You still have to ride, so
I don't appreciate all of those people talking to each other as if they're equals as far as the effort put in or the goals put in. Yeah. And I think that's really, I want to be really clear on that. There's just different levels of this universe, of this world when it comes to horses. There's different care, there's different riding expectation, there's different goal expectation, and I think it's really hard for someone who just wants to enjoy their horse to even fathom what it takes to do that top of the top riding, amateur or otherwise. And I'm not even talking financial, but what keeps you motivated? Because you will ride in the rain, you will ride in the cold, you will ride at 7 a.m. when I tell you I'm got to leave by 8. You would have been riding right now, and I was like, please, can we please go inside?
There's lightning.
Please, lightning. I'd really like to have him next week to go to Oklahoma with. Yeah. But why do you continue to push?
Because, long story short, when my daughter graduated high school and moved off to college, then I was just kind of doing a whole lot of stuff by myself. And I thought, well, I really need to take time to do things that I want to do. My daughter showed horses. She did a whole bunch of sports and stuff. And then she got into a whole bunch of artsy stuff. Had very successful student career. And so I felt like everything that I did, like most moms and with families, we put that stuff to the side. And then 100%. I thought, well, I don't have to. Nobody else is coming. So let's just see what we can do. And then when I started, I was like, okay, well, if I do this, X, Y, and Z happens. And then I'm like, okay, well, that's not bad. So let's go to a show and try it, because I like to compete anyway. And I was like, all right, well. Then I had a couple years where I was like, well, that really sucks. I feel like I spent more time in the dirt than on my horse. But I feel like it's a challenge, How far can I really make it and still be happy, with me and my horse? He's obviously not necessarily built for dressage. He's like a center block.
You didn't come off of this horse. You came off of a different horse.
No.
This horse is only 4 or 5 now, right?
Yeah.
He's young. Yeah.
Indy has been a godsend. So I feel like it's in the back of my head. I think I really can do this. What if I just say yes? What if I just try? What if those 6 rides during the winter weeks at the crack of dawn has really put us ahead? And it does, because they're used to riding in different weather. They're used to all kinds of creatures that are out. You know what I mean? So I feel like everything I've done has just been added to our bank, and we've just been able to build off of that stuff. But honestly, I really just want to see how far I can take it. Then I don't think I have a plan, if I win this, I'll be happy. No, I think it's if I didn't think I would get him to start to supple and be round and softer. And then this year he really showed up and was like, we can't do it the whole time.
Because we went in the steps. Last year it was he had no idea what all 4 legs did together.
No.
And she blamed herself.
Yeah.
You're on a young boy. Boys are stupid. And then we worked on the cadence of the tempo and the regulation of the jog.
Yeah.
And now it's suppling.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, he can do this, so let's see what else he can do. And so that has been really what has pushed me to want to get up when it's sucky weather, when I don't feel good. I still want to show up, because I feel like we can really make something very nice. We might take it one step further.
But I will say you have been a delight as a client. I've probably got 5 to 6 others that will get up and it's a little bit frozen, and I'm like, we're only doing turns on the forehand, turns on the haunches, side pass, back up, halt. And you're like, okay, cool. And I'm like, I promise you this will come out in the wash for you. This will work out for you.
Yeah.
Because those days where the horse doesn't feel like it needs to be drilled, where the rider might not feel like we've accomplished much, I'm like, but you can ride up and open that gate now.
Exactly.
And these horses that can trot for 15 minutes can't.
That's great. Yeah.
And you're right. You do get exposed to all different kinds of things, but the horses also learn like, hey, I'm going to come in. We're going to do a couple things that also help them become more agile in that cold weather. They know they're not going to get pounded on.
No.
And I think it really, even though it takes longer in theory, the fundamentals are there.
Yes.
And like I told her, so she's leaving for a week on vacation before Worlds. And I was he's ready to go. You're both ready to go. Yeah. Anything that's going to happen right now is just stress.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's hard. And I know that you happen to have a farm of your own, so that does make it easier. Driving out in bad weather is not always ideal. There was a farm I teach at in Virginia, and I moved up to Virginia for many, many reasons, but because they were out riding in the snow bareback. And I was like, I miss that. That's how I grew up.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to go take my horse out and ride in the snow, not go ride a freestyle, but just go have a good time, you know? Yeah. And I pulled her horse out at Southern Pines and just let him graze while I sat on him bareback. And I was like, this is, when I hear people like complaining about this, that, and the other with their horses, and I sit back and I think, but you still have yours.
Yeah.
And I don't have mine anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know when I'm going to get mine again.
Yeah. I think you got to have a lot of gratefulness too, because that really puts things in perspective.
Well, you and I've talked some, there are people that love their horses and there are people that own their horses.
Yeah.
And the way they talk to you, you're instantly like, oh okay, you own a horse.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. That horse owes you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're taking your emotions out with your horse. Yeah. And then there are people that, you know, and we've got a good friend who will call and, I'm not riding today. He's not white.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No problem.
Yeah.
And she'll send me money and I'll send it right back. I'm like, no. Something's not right. I'm not charging you. I don't want you to feel like you're taking a loss in every way, shape, or form. Now, if I'm driving to you, you can give me some gas money. But yeah, I mean, I think as far as true amateur riders, 9 to 5, there's this, I need to get it done as fast as I can. Yeah. And then they're also burning off the, I'm not good enough and I have something to prove.
Yeah.
And what's your suggestion to that? I think having a good crew, a good team makes a huge difference.
I do. But I also think you really have to find being okay with not everybody's going to want to ride when you ride. Not everybody's going to want to do the things that you do. And you have
to be able to.
Yeah.
And not everybody's going to be able to be honest about why they aren't.
Yeah.
I think that's hard. Yeah. It takes a long time in life to be honest with yourself. And then it's even harder to be honest with others.
Yeah. There's going to be times where you just have to kind of buck up and be by yourself. And I struggled with that. So I would cut on some music or cut on a podcast. I can't tell you how many times me and that horse have been meandering through our woods listening to murder mysteries like
Jessica, Murder She Wrote. We love Jessica.
We do a lot of stuff like that, and it's fine to be okay just together, you and your horse. And I think some people, like some of the other amateurs I know, struggle because they feel like I need the companionship. I need somebody to be with me or to help me. And sometimes you really have to dig down and just be okay doing it by yourself for a while.
But let's be honest. I've been that person. You've been that person.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're a tough ass cookie. I know that. But a lot of it is, oh God, what is it? It's not like poor me. It's not. It's very much like, I don't want to have to do this alone.
Exactly.
I don't want to have to. It's those life lessons in all aspects of life. You know, we were talking about kids ordering food. Yeah. I don't want to have to, but I have to.
Exactly.
I don't want to have to go by myself, but I have to. Yeah. I don't want to have to do this, but I have to.
Yeah.
If I want that dream.
Yes. How worth it is it? And sometimes, because I like to be, that's why I listen to my podcast all the time, because it's a way to not feel, I guess, like lonely, almost like, especially the podcasts that are a lot of conversational. It feels like I'm just hanging out with friends in my head, which does sound crazy, but it gives me like a thought process. I can hear other people talking and doing things, and I can be engaged with that while me and my horse are out walking and working on stuff together. And I have actually found doing some of that stuff by myself has been very therapeutic, because then I know all else fails and I need to go do this alone, I'm capable of doing it alone.
I grew up in kind of a situation where if someone found out that I was like, hey, let me tell you this about Ryan before she gets here, they're like, do you tell Ryan about me? And I'm like, well, yeah. Because in my mind, if you kind of know how each friend reacts to certain things, the expectation is, hey, Caroline might want to be by herself when she first gets here and feels it out. Mary Kate, you got to give her some snacks. She'll be fine. Julie, I really don't know what Julie's going to be, but she's going to be delight every single time.
Oh my God.
You'll be in the middle of something and then you'll disappear and you'll be like, oh, sorry.
I'm not.
Right? And so I think it's really good to know the friend group really quick or the team really, really fast.
Oh, yeah.
So that you don't take offense to what's going on. You don't like overanalyze. Did I do something? Did I say something?
No.
And I think knowing the team and the group helps a massive amount, because if you say something like, I need help, or I need a minute, in any one of those personalities, everyone will be like, great, I'm here for you, or you go take your minute, zero judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what happened at our first camp for sure. And I think it's continued to happen. And it has just given so many people great confidence within their own riding, within their own partnerships with their horses of like, oh, I can say I'm not available today for this, or I need some help. Yeah. And I think it's just been great growth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I will say, a toxic environment will never ever get better. No. Never.
It'll never.
And that even goes for your horse too. Like if it's a toxic situation where people are like, you should sell it, and you're like, no, I want to win this war, I want to battle through. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, y'all do not get along. He's just not that into you.
Well, sometimes, it's the same thing as how, all these studies talk about stress on the human body. Well, we can actually vocalize and get out and try and do things to help that. Our horses are just stuck in it. 24/7.
Right.
And I can assure you they feel it 100%. No matter where you go, what you do, they know it. And how unfair would that be? No one, it's like having a friend, is miserable and you're never checking in and be like, well, would you like to move? Can I help you with that? No. Yeah. They are very susceptible.
Now, I won't offer up an opinion unless I'm asked it. I will not offer up an opinion unless I'm asked.
Yeah, don't ask me if you don't want to know the truth.
And I just won't, because I'm like, you'll ask me when you're ready to know the answers that I have.
Yeah.
And so, I'll just, I won't mention it. And people are always like, why don't you say things like that? And I'm like, no, because then you're going to get upset at me. When you're ready to ask my opinion or Ryan's opinion or Mary Kate, Julie, Caroline, you'll ask it.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready to do that. All right. Well, Ryan's gearing up for Worlds. We'll leave next week.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I got to start my Instacart list for my snacks.
I've never Ubered or Instacarted, so this should be interesting because I'm flying in. But this is our
Listen, I'll teach you that if you teach me bend and suppleness before we get there.
It's in the rib cage. Suppleness in the rib cage. All right. Well, thank you, Ryan. Iced Out Gypsy Vanners, Karen, Mindset Equestrian, Podcast 101, done.
Woo.
For the books. We did it.
And I got my snacks.
Thank you for watching Mindset Equestrian. Mindset Equestrian is encouraging positive education in and amongst the equine community, all breeds, disciplines, shapes, sizes, and abilities. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed it.